Okay, we're going to do a brief introduction to the mole and how to use these triangles to help us get the numbers correct. We're all familiar with a dozen, so we're going to start with a dozen analogy. So we have two formulas here. We have a dozens and number 12 and the number of items here. And then we have a way of dealing with mass in a dozen. The unit mass means the mass per dozen. And of course that's dozen, and this will be grams. Let's get started. How many pencils are in 3 dozen? Well, we look at our triangle here and we determine that we want the number of items. So I'm going to put a little X on this. This is what we want to know. So it says take the number of dozens and multiply it by 12. So we'll take 3 times 12. And of course our answer is 36, and we write 36 pencils. And this is what the triangle tells us to do. Since dozens is next to the number 12 here in our triangle, we multiply them. What about going backwards? How many dozen are in 45 pencils? Well, now we want to know how many dozens we want, so X over that. And then it says take the number of items and then divide that number of items by 12. So we have 45 divided by 12. And that equals 3.75. So we'll go over here, you write the answer is 3.75 dozen. Remember how we need to keep units at our answers in science. It's very, very, very important to do that. Now what about mass? Let's say our unit mass, the mass of 1 dozen pencils, is 46 grams. So 46 grams is our unit mass, the mass per 1 dozen. So how many grams are in 2 dozen pencils? So I want the number of grams, so I X out the mass here. It says take dozens times the unit mass. So I'm going to take 2, and I'll multiply that by 46. And that equals 92. And again, we'll write our answer as 92 grams. And lastly, what if we want to know how many dozens are in a particular mass? Well, I'll X out dozens here because that's what I want to know. And it says take the mass divided by the unit mass. So then I'll take 102 and I'll divide that by 46. And the answer comes out as 2.2. And again, I'll write that as 2.2 dozen. So sometimes we get whole numbers, sometimes we get decimals. And decimals are fine in chemistry, so don't worry about those. Just, round to 2 or 3 significant digits. And that's how we deal with quantities, okay, in science that deal with the mole concept. And of course, our next lesson will be more specific to the mole itself.